Welcome to Talks and Readings with your host, me. Okay, so let's get on to the anarchist work. This is a book called Let's Destroy Work, Let's Destroy the Economy. A pamphlet, probably, released by Alfredo M. Bonnano, translated by Jean Ware, by Elephant Editions, Ardent Press, 2013. So, an anarchist pamphlet, probably sold in a anarchist bookstore in Rome or Italy, somewhere in Italy. I'll just read the introduction here, and of course the link to the book itself will be in the materials section below. Now where am I going with this, Well, I don't care really. Basically this is talking points. You can think what you want about me. I've had a long career doing this and that, and it's just a hard life, really, isn't it? I could there's a variety of directions I could go in, but that's not important. What important right now is just reading this. Introduction. The old work ethic has disappeared. The old work ethic has disappeared, along with the massive, obsolete structures of capital that required a permanent army of producers. Yet work still has far more implications than mere survival. Stirring stuff. Millions of people still compete for the privilege of turning up day after day, year after year, to surrender body and soul in exchange for a wage. The alternative, to encounter one's real desires and create the means required to realize them, could present some surprises and lead to undreamed choices. A job, boring or arduous as it might be, is the easy way out. It gives structure to our day and puts order in our expectations, giving us just enough in our pockets to acquire instant sublimation and quell any sudden surge of hatred towards what is stealing our time and our lives. The pernicious mixture of hatred and dependency at the basis of the work relationship atrophies the individual, reducing life to a question of accountancy. Free time, a mere negative quantity ranging from a few hours between days at work to months or even years between jobs, can be survived by performing a number of rituals. Shopping, watching TV, or watching YouTube, doing voluntary work, or going on adventure holidays to faraway places can fill gaps and prevent any feelings of anguish which might lead to putting the whole setup in question. If all else fails, capital's white-coated auxiliaries are always on hand to prescribe the latest psychotropic effects tailored to produce a dim glow of indifference. Technological progress once deformed human beings into ragged, starving labourers, still a reality for millions who produce the global economy's primary requirements, then into skilled workers with access to consumer goods, and now into uprooted, flexible human resources with access to McDonald's, flexi time, credit cards, even a mortgage, and shares in the company. The essence of this new slavery is that life itself has been mortgaged to the interests of capital. Anyone harbouring doubts about the ethics of this reality can find solace in some of its alternative manifestations. Voluntary work, alternative banks, and self-managed enterprises now exist alongside famine, genocide, and the destruction of the planet, all equally indispensable components of post-industrial capital. Remunerated non-work, dull, dismal production of social peace is also a job and an essential part of this whole system, where the increase in free time, always obscured by the shadow of work, is tainted with restricted freedom of movement, lack of money and status. Even robbing banks and reappropriating goods remains within the logic of capital if the individual perpetrator of the deed does not already have their own project in motion. The appropriation of our lives, our time, our space, once snatched here and there through sabotage and absenteeism, now requires the invention of a new creative project, starting from the destruction of work, both subjectively and objectively. We need time to reflect on what we want to do with our lives, and space to find the necessary means to bring this about through both individual and collective experimentation. Life unbridled, a venture into the absolute other, requires the total destruction not only of my work, but of the very concept of work and economy as the basis of human relations. I'm going to leave it there. The link to this pamphlet is below. Zizek will disagree. He's not an anti-work guy, and of course Peterson disagrees thoroughly with everything that Bohemianism stands for. I'm one of the last. Gen X. Auf Wiedersehen.